Ladies and gentlemen, the all-new Smith & Wesson M&P Performance Center Carry Comp metal frame. You have probably not seen us review anything from Smith & Wesson in quite some time. One of the very first reviews we ever did was a Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0, the new 2.0 at the time. This one being the new Carry Comp metal frame. What makes this thing special? Well, it's pretty obvious. It has a comped or ported barrel and then a ported slide. Now what's a little bit different on this thing, let's say something from like the all-new Hellcat Comp, is that instead of the rifling going all the way to the end of the barrel, with this pistol itself, you actually have the rifling where it stops at about 4 inches on the barrel there, and then you're actually going to have a smooth bore after that that's a larger overall diameter. So really what you're getting is it's almost like you have a bored out barrel at the end with a comp that's chunk ported into there, which from what I'm noticing right away is certainly very effective. And if you're not familiar with these new metal frame Smith & Wesson pistols, they feel excellent in the hand. They have a narrower front strap and almost, I'd say it's almost like edgy, but in a good way. So I have found that it's extremely comfortable in my hand. And I've also found it to be a very, very natural shooting pistol in general. Now with the Performance Center Carry Comp here from Smith & Wesson, they did some things that really helped put themselves ahead of the market, and also, if anything, helped them at least catch up with the rest of the market, because Smith & Wesson has been behind for quite some time. But now the M&P 2.0 series of pistols is really in line with all of the competitors, whether it's Springfield, Shadow Systems, and Sig especially. And with these pistols like this, I think you're going to see a more competitive pistol for law enforcement and people choosing to carry these in EDC or a home defense style gun. So you're gonna see there's very aggressive slide serrations on here that, I mean, they are, I don't wanna say they're sharp because that's negative, but I would say that they are aggressive. So they're aggressive up here in the front. So when you put your fingers up here, do like a press check on the front, rack the slide, they do not slip. And the same thing here on the rear is they actually have almost like a fin that's cut into the back. And then you grip it, if you're gripping from the rear, it's very easy. And my thumbs do not slip off that whatsoever. So if you had to come over the top and do a quick press check, you can do that without issue, whether it's left or right-handed. And then in addition to that on here, you do have enlarged slide release or slide stop levers, which I have found on the competitor model, which I just absolutely love shooting. It's something that I purchased not too long ago, and just have really, let's say, quote unquote, fallen in love with it because it feels so natural in my hand. And again, I repeat this, I have not been an M&P fan for quite some time, but their new pistols have started to kind of grow on me. And the biggest reason that I found that the M&P pistols were not my favorite, and I really wasn't a fan, was the triggers. Now these triggers themselves, I will not sit here and tell you they're great. They are definitely, though, one of the better striker fired triggers on the market. So with these ones, they have a blade here in the front, and then it comes back and it turns into almost a flat styled trigger. You come back, you pull on it, and I'm at like a wall, you have a little bit of creep and a little bit more creep, and then it breaks. It's pretty crisp, pretty clean. I'd say it's about 4.5 to 5 pounds, but it feels pretty good. Now the reset on these, it's nothing special. In fact, it's probably one of the worst ones on the market if you compare it to whether it be Sig, the Echelon, Shadow Systems, or Glock. But with that being said, I'm not somebody that rides the reset, so reset to me is not something that's all that important. But what I can say with this one is it does actually force your finger out if that's something you're looking for. So it does have that in here. This pistol itself on the metal frame model, this is a 17 round grip. So you get 2 17 round magazines with the gun. And then in addition to that, you do get very nice night sights on here. Now blacked out rear, green front end up here, which is really nice to see on the front sight. They are Night Vision brand and they are very bright. However, unfortunately, they slightly missed the mark on this pistol. And with the new M&P series, the optics cut isn't any deeper than what you're normally seeing from their pistols. So like this Defender ST, where I get a full co-witness on a Shadow Systems pistol, you do not get a co-witness using it on this pistol. These are a little bit thinner than like a Delta Point. And even with an RMR, I did try it on a polymer frame version that I also bought, and you still don't get any co-witness. So what I could tell you is that with an RMR, Hollow Sun, this Defender from Vortex, you're not gonna get a co-witness, but the iron sights themselves are very nice. There is a plate system with screws that go in there. They supply you the plates, they supply you the screws, and that's something that I'm not going to complain about. The reason I'm not going to complain is there are manufacturers in the market that don't give you all of that stuff. And out of the box, I didn't need to buy anything in order to mount this red dot on the pistol. It fit perfectly. The screws they provided actually work for this Vortex red dot. And in general, the Vortex Defender ST dot has become one of my favorites due to price point, the durability I've noticed, the dot clarity, all of the good stuff that you're looking for. You do get screws that come with the red dot itself, so that's nice to see as well. Now this does have the like a gray Armor Knight finish on here, the metal aluminum frame here, and then your grip panels have a very good aggressive texture that is not lacking whatsoever. And some people that have those little baby girly hands would probably complain. However, I'm not one of those people. I would like this pistol to make my hands bleed if it's up to me, because I just want the pistol to be grippy, and this is no exception to that. There are aftermarket mag wells that you can get for this. We'll do some reloads today and I'll evaluate how it feels, but the overall, like the magazine release button is not bad. It's pretty easy to get. I don't really have to break my grip in order to get that, and that's a good thing to see. Some pistols, in particular Shadow Systems, I do have to break my grip, and Sig 320s, which I've shot a lot of, I also have to break my grip. No issues there. The M&P series pistols for takedown procedures, if you're somebody that's really into that stuff, you do not have to pull the trigger on these pistols to take them down. They're very simple. You turn the lever and then there's actually a little bar in there. You push it forward and the slide will come off. It's very, very simple. You'll notice that today I'm going to shoot with a TLR1 HL on the front of this pistol. That's how it works, my Omnivore holster from Blackhawk that I use in all of our videos. And if you're curious about anything that I'm wearing today, what you can easily do is click a link in the description. It's going to take you to our website. On that website, you're going to see everything that I'm using today, you know, optics, shot timer, you know, holster, HRT belt. You know, you can use HRT code from us. It's on our website. All that stuff is on there for you to look at and find, glasses, all that good stuff. So check that stuff out. But let's shoot this thing a bunch today. I'll evaluate it. It's by no means a slouch. Will I think it compete with the rest of the, let's say, metal frame guns on the market? 100%. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. It doesn't even take that many rounds to figure that out. So we're gonna shoot this thing a bunch today. We'll show you guys how that recoil feels. But what's most important with us is that we're pledging to you, especially now and even more so in the future, that we're gonna keep gun reviews honest. And for us, we bought this pistol. We bought this with our own money. It was $1,000. We bought the polymer frame one as well. That one is about $750. We bought both of them because we want to make videos with them. We are excited to get the new Smith & Wesson pistols, and we just wanted to be able to make videos that you could count on and rely on. So let's get into it today. To help out with the video today, Fort Scott Munitions was nice enough to send us out some ammo. We have found their 9mm tumble punt impact ammo to be very clean shooting, accurate, and on top of that, very, very reliable. No issues whatsoever. If you guys are interested in trying some of it out and you want to save a few bucks, by all means do so, but use the code HFS10 to get a few dollars off. Let's get into evaluating the all-new M&P Performance Center Carry Comp metal frame. Man, that's a hell of a mouthful, but let's get into evaluating this pistol. We'll start off with a bill drill. We'll hope that I can count. Usually I cannot, but that's okay because nobody's perfect. Still can't count. Shooting a little high. That's all right, we'll fix it. All right, it's gonna put us into a reload. So going into the reload, you'll notice that there's not like a real big mag well whatsoever. There is a slight bevel in there, and it's not terrible because Smith & Wesson uses very nice metal magazines. But I'm really noticing that, like, overall, I do wish that that was larger. Coming from my competitor model, that obviously has a very large mag well, which is really nice, but this thing here does not. So that's something I would probably recommend for somebody if they're wanting to maybe carry this as a duty pistol, use it for some level of competition or whatever it may be. A mag well be very, very nice on this thing. What I've noticed with this pistol is that it has a very good feel in your hand. It feels very solid. You don't notice any, like, let's say, grip flexing or anything like that. But what I can say is that, like, this front panel on here, it does move a little bit. You kind of hear it if I tap on it. But when you're shooting, you don't notice it. But when you go to, like, let's say, first grip the pistol, out of the holster. You can't necessarily feel it move, but you can almost feel that little bit of like a crunch in there to some extent. Now with my competitor model, I don't notice that whatsoever. It doesn't do that, but then on this model here, it does. I can't say it's something that's going to affect overall grip or shooting, but it's just something to make note of. What I really like though is that the button, when I'm hitting that magazine release button, feels really, really nice. I don't notice me like having to hunt for it or search for it. That seems very quick. You know, the reloads themselves, you know, they're fine. It's not a big deal. It's a very, very usable and serviceable pistol. Just wish there was a little bit of mag weld on this thing already. The bevel it's okay. Yeah, really great shooting pistol. And those slide serrations here on the back end of the pistol, you know, coming back there to release the slide after taking the magazine out and watching it go home, it's very nice. If you had muddy, bloody, dirty hands, gloved hands or something like that, you're a SWAT operator, police officer, these grip, or let's say these slide serrations on the all new M&P Carry Con are far better than anything else they've ever done. And these are probably some of the absolute nicest, most aggressive factory serrations on the market. These serrations, I have found them already to be better, or at the very least comparable to like a Shadow Systems. I'd say actually they're probably better. They really feel good. I mean, just like the overall design, they are probably the absolute best ones I have felt on a factory pistol out of all the ones on the market. And you guys know that we shoot a ton of stuff. You know I like Walther pistols, you know I like Shadow Systems, you know I like Glock, you know I like Sig. And these things here, they're damn good. All right, got the pistol loaded up now. We're gonna walk you guys through the trigger pull and how that feels under live fire. So come down onto the trigger, you'll feel there's that shoe. It's very, very noticeable that it's there. It doesn't quite feel like a Glock one. It's more like a flat paddle on the index finger there. So you come down onto it, you have some take up. Now I'm at some resistance. I can pull. Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, the resistance itself, so you come down and you hit like a little bit right there, and then I'm at a wall. So there's not, you know, like as far as like there being some creep at the wall, there's not. The reset's fairly short. It's a fairly short reset. It's not audible. I'm gonna release it now. So you notice there's that reset and I'm at the wall already. So the pistol itself, it feels really good. That little bit of paddle that's inside the trigger there and how that depresses in that trigger shoe when you're at the rear is very flat and it feels really nice. So overall, it's a really darn good trigger. I'd say it's better than a 320 trigger, better than pretty much all your Glock triggers, including Shadow Systems. It is not a Walther PDP. I'd say it's probably close to like the Echelon trigger. So I'd say if not a little bit better, just because of how the trigger feels very tactile at that wall. So really good overall trigger feel. So let's talk about recoil, because what makes this thing special compared to the rest of the Smith & Wesson pistols is the port or comp on the front of this pistol. You can definitely feel the difference. It's not a really aggressive one, but it's definitely noticeable. So let's get into that and see how it feels overall. What I've noticed there on that very first shot, no dot leaving the window whatsoever. It's very flat shooting. You'll notice too that with this pistol, it has extremely strong ejections versus like what I see from Shadow Systems, which their pistols usually have a lighter ejection pattern. I've never had any issues with the XR920P or the MR920P, but I've noticed that this pistol has extremely strong ejections, which is a good thing. Yeah, I mean, it just tracks extremely flat and very well. What I'll say is that coming from somebody who loves shooting the Sig AXG Legion, we'll do a comparison review or video versus that pistol, but this thing, I think it shoots flatter than that. It feels good. The AXG Legion is probably my favorite 320, but this all new Smith & Wesson, how it feels in the hand and how flat it shoots, feels a lot more like a Glock, and how they shoot with that very flat low bore axis, and how the Shadow System XR920P or the MR920P shoots. But this has that metal frame, which this frame, for folks that don't like Glock grip angles, it's definitely going to hit the right spot for you, because there are a lot of folks that don't like that. And for myself included, this frame on these pistols is one of the nicest ones on the market. What I'm going to do now is something I like to call the box drill. So it's 2 rounds here, 2 rounds at the next corner, 2 rounds at another corner, and 2 rounds at another corner. So ultimately it's going to be like 30 yards, 15 yards, 15 yards, and then 30 yards. But what it's going to show me is it's going to allow me to do grip acquisition, sight acquisition, and a little bit of shooting on the move. And what it feels nice when you're shooting certain pistols. It allows you to get a good feel when you put your body under, let's say, a little bit of stress, quote unquote, and also in general, it helps see how that pistol tracks with maybe a less than ideal grip as well. So it's just 8 rounds total here is all we're gonna do. That pistol is very, very flat shooting. Dare I say I like shooting it more than my AXG Legion, which I really, really love. The pistol itself just shoots so darn well. What I've really noticed is that it tracks extremely flat without having that aggressive grip angle like you see in Glock style pistols, especially like Shadow Systems, but getting a low bore axis, which SIGs and Walthers just don't have. This thing has that, and for how well it shoots, this thing is one heck of a competitive pistol in the market. It's gonna be a hell of a duty pistol if somebody chooses to use it for that. I know I could see myself possibly using this if I wanted to, but this thing, Smith & Wesson, I want to say thank you for finally stepping up your game and making a pistol that's competitive with the rest of the other ones on the market, if not better than some of the other ones, because you were far behind. But really, guys, if you're interested in the M&P Performance Center Carry Comp metal frame pistol at $1,000, yeah, it's expensive. It's going to be probably out of reach for some folks. But if you got the money, 100% worth your hard-earned dollar. But if you guys disagree with me, you think I'm an idiot, you don't think I know what I'm talking about, just let me know down in the comment section. We'll talk a little bit down there, but more importantly, guys, tune in next time with Hunt, Fish, Shoot.